Is there a purpose for these folding guns, or are they just a gimmick? We're gonna find out here in today's video. This is the Smith & Wesson FPC, and this is a gun that folds on itself and is a pretty unique design in the way this works. So let's get right into the first 30-second breakdown. That's where in the first 30 seconds, give or take, I give you guys my exact thoughts on this product before we get into the full review. That way you can just stop watching because now you know exactly why I think about this, or keep watching and find out why I say these things in greater detail, and it does help out with the algorithm. So this gun's ability to be able to go to this normal size rifle down to a compact size like this very quickly makes this a really good option for a backpack, truck, camping, or even an SRO gun. Being able to have this at a small package, compact like this, and still have a large capacity because you're able to store multiple magazines here in the stock. These are 23 round mags. Comes with 3 different magazines, 2 23 rounds, and then 1 17 round magazine. One of the biggest benefits is this rocks everything MMP, and it is the exact same footprint as a MMP. So if you're used to that, you're gonna be very comfortable with this setup. You have adjustable back straps to make this a little more comfortable to you. The trigger is about average for what you feel with MMP, around 5 pounds. You have a full length pick rail. This is polymer, and that could be a downside. You have M-LOK capabilities to be able to mount flashlights or accessories on there, and a full top pick rail. And you're able to fold this, and it doesn't mess with your optic sighting solution, so you don't have to worry about re-zeroing this when you fold it, kind of like the Kel-Tec where it folds on itself up top. This folds to the side, so you don't have to worry about that sighting solution being messed up and having to re-zero or take it off when you want to fold it. So as a threaded barrel, you're able to suppress this, and we ran it a decent amount suppressed with no issues. Had 0 malfunctions with this gun, other than the fact we had it pulling apart rounds 3 times at one point. We ended up getting everything replaced. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in the full review. You have a charging handle here in the back that you're able to manipulate with both sides or over the top, and it reminds me a lot of an AR-15 style charging handle. The folding mechanism seems very solid, and when you slap it back in, it locks up very nicely and does not have any play to it. Now the cons are the slide stop levers are basically non-usable, especially this one. You aren't able to actually use it to drop the slide, or slide release, I should say. The slide stop does work, but the slide release is very, very difficult to use, to the point that I just end up using the charging handle to be able to rack it back. And for some reason, I always found myself having an issue with the safety. I don't really know what the fix is or to make it better, but to me, I always found myself not manipulating it like I should, and it just seems a little bit odd in the place that it is located, and I always forget to actually manipulate it. So now let's get into my relationship with Smith & Wesson. They did send me this rifle. I did not spend my own money on it. Now let's get into the full review and go over exactly what we think about this rifle and everything in a lot more detail. Now, I mentioned the stripping of bullets, and I kind of left you hanging there for a second, but it's 30-second breakdown to try and make things pretty quick, and this is something I want to dive a little bit more detail into. So we had an issue with the original FPC that we had. This one has a couple different pieces, which we'll go over. But when we would be done shooting and I would want to unload the gun and show clear, I would go to manipulate. It was very difficult to get that last round out. And then when I did, I would pull it, and the bullet would strip apart. You'll see B-roll here of that, and that happened 3 separate times. After the third one, I contacted them and said something is definitely wrong. They were very quick in response, and they sent out a new barrel assembly here to be able to replace it. I sent the other one back, and they said that it was out of spec. So I set up the new one, and I haven't had any problems since. Not sure 100% what the problem was, but there was definitely something wrong with that. The gun functioned great. I had no issues malfunction-wise. I had 0 malfunctions this entire time, other than the fact that it was stripping bullets. Again, no problems with this one so far. I will keep you updated for some reason that does change, but I've put about 600 rounds through this gun so far with 0 actual shooting malfunctions. One of the biggest supporters of the channel is Brownells, and I cannot thank them enough for everything they do. I would not be able to do any of this if it wasn't for them. So thank you to Brownells. Absolutely love them. Can't really say a whole lot other than Brownells because of the rules. So Brownells, Brownells, Brownells. Go to my website, tacticaladvisor.net, and that will be able to help you do even more with Brownells. So let's just do a really quick rundown of the gun itself. Like I said, it has MMP features. So if you're comfortable with an MMP handgun, you're gonna really like this, and you're already gonna be really familiar with it, other than the safety. Again, I know I said that's a downside. It's just odd to me. I don't know. I don't know why it's different. I don't know why I don't like using it. It just feels weird to manipulate. If you're a lefty, you're gonna have a really tough time manipulating this because you're gonna have to come over to the other side. I just feel like it's a little bit clunky after using it. Now, if I use this primarily and I train with it, I can see getting really proficient with it, and it probably won't be that big of a deal because it does feel good, and it's very tactile, and it has a good texture to it, but it just seems unnatural the time that I've had it. And then your trigger is just your typical MMP trigger, very simple. We'll do a quick test of that. See, that is exactly what I'm saying. I already messed up with the safety. We'll do a test of that real quick. So this trigger is not going to blow you away or make you think this is the best trigger in the world, but it is not a bad factory trigger by any means. And moving up here to the folding mechanism. Now this is where this gun really shines in the fact that you're able to make this in such a compact size. It folds over on itself and it locks in with the charging handle connecting to an M-lock piece here, and it locks up really nice and tight. You use tension, pull it apart, clicks back into place, and then you're able to use it. And what's really nice about this is it being so small, you're able to put this into a bag or an area in your truck that you're not normally able to put things in. And then you can get quick access to that gun, fold it open, and then you're able to use it in whatever situation that you might need to. It's very quick, it's very easy, and it folds up nice and small. Now, where I think another place that this is useful is maybe a position like an SRO at a school. They're able to have a gun in a small bag that's a little less conspicuous, but be able to have a little bit more capacity if they needed to run in, grab real quick, and then they have this. Now, you've got a full polymer handguard, and at first, I was a little worried about this. A lot of this gun is polymer, the folding mechanism, all the things, but everything is very solid, very tight. When you fold this, it's locked up well. When you unfold it, it locks up well, and there's no play at all to that, which is surprising and shows you how much attention to detail Smith & Wesson put into this to make sure it locked up really nicely. At first, I thought the polymer handguard would be an issue. I mean, I'm not going to put an IR device on this and shoot night vision, but that's not what a gun like this is made for. So as long as you understand the role of this and the place of it, I think you're not going to have any issues with the polymer. Pick rail does go all the way down the top here to the folding mechanism, and what's awesome and where the Kel-Tec fails, I think, where it folds on itself on the top, is that you aren't able to use an optic on that gun, or at least not be able to use the optic when it's in the folded position. You have to then put the optic later, and you lose your zero. With this, everything stays where it's at, and you don't lose your zero, and you have no problems, and I really like that. Your pick rail goes all the way down. It does end here on the receiver. I couldn't see later down the road or another iteration them adding the pick rail on the receiver itself just to give you a little bit more space if you would like to, but they ended up making it end right there, and then you have polymer M-lock slots all the way through to be able to add any kind of flashlight or accessories that you want to. You have a threaded barrel. I ran this suppressed and not having any issues. I didn't do a ton of rounds. I think we're about 100, 120 rounds suppressed. I just wanted to shoot it that way to see how it functioned, and we had no problems. I'm going all the way back to the back of this gun. You have the stock here, and this is a very basic stock. It is not adjustable. You cannot move it back and forth. It's comfortable enough, has a good enough cheek well to be able to allow you to use this gun comfortably. You have a QD point on either side. You can run on the front or the back, and that is nice, but there's nothing on front, so you'll have to add something if you want to add a sling or a 2-point, and it does come with the ability to lock in 2 magazines on the bottom. Now, I like this because they're just using their space well, and what people's mindset for this gun, in my mind, for a camping gun or a backpack gun or a truck gun, you want the extra storage of ammo. You don't want to just throw in a single mag for 17 rounds, because this kind of defeats the purpose. You got a long gun with a decent amount of ammo, but what's even better is adding over 40 more rounds of ammo to this gun's capacity. I think that's pretty cool. So I like to see that they use their storage super well. It's not the most sexy way of reloading a gun, or the button isn't wildly cool looking, but it's simple and it works, and that's all you can really ask for. You have a charging handle up here, and that is polymer like the majority of the gun. And again, this is ambidextrous, so you're able to use this on either side or the bottom, whatever way you would like to, and it will manipulate it. This is a direct blowback gun, and it is a 9mm right now. I can see them adding more later down the road, but for right now, that is the caliber that we have. This also comes with a bag and 3 magazines, and I like to see that a company coming with 3 magazines. That's very nice from the factory, especially a gun like this, and you're able to rock any other M&P mags that you would like. If you have M&P mags, you can use those as well. Now, another con that we discussed is the slide stop here. You're able to lock it back fairly easy with no issue, but it's where you actually want to drop that. It's basically unusable because it is basically flush with the plastic piece around it. So you have to get your finger in there to be able to actually use it, which at that point, it's just easier to reach back and use it that way. Now, this one to the right, because you have ambidextrous ones on either side, this one's a little bit more usable, but not as much, because it's kind of scary because that bolt is right by your finger when you're doing it, so you don't want to reach too far into that, but you can use that one a little bit easier than the left side, because I think the left side is basically unusable in my opinion. Under stress, for sure, would never go for that. I will just always reach back and go for this, which isn't terrible because all you have to do is reach back and grab here. You're already pulling your mag and everything's right here, so it's not like you're going way out of your way to do anything, but I would like to see them at least do a cutout right here on this piece so it's a little bit easier to manipulate that. MSRP, these are at $6.99, so you can probably find them a little bit cheaper than that price, but all in all, this gun is a lot of fun. It is cool how it folds. I think they did a really good job with the design and be able to fold it on itself on the side opposed to over top, because you're able to use your optic. I think that was one of the biggest complaints with the Kel-Tec, and that Smith & Wesson ended up fixing. I think the lockup is incredible. They did a really good job with it, and the gun is just a lot of fun to shoot. You take away everything else where you're like, okay, I need a purpose for this gun. It's just fun. It's cool. It's unique. It's different. It's something that is not like your traditional traditional AR-15s like all these back here. So if you go out to the range to show your friends or whatnot, this is definitely a gun that's gonna turn some heads. Hope this video is able to help you make a better decision, decide if this is a gun that you want, or maybe you just want to hold off based off some of the things that you found out on this video. It's always my goal is to be able to help you guys spend your money in the best way possible and not let you waste it, because I know how hard it is to earn that money, especially nowadays. I want you to be able to spend that money confidently and then be happy with the final product when you get it. If you're looking to support the channel, the things I do here, there's a couple ways to do that. One of the biggest ways is going over to Rumble and following over there, because I'm able to say whatever I want. It's uncensored because this platform doesn't really let me say all these things, but Rumble lets me say anything I would like, and I love that. So check me out over there. We're trying to build that channel. We do weekly live streams as well, and we'll be doing some really cool other things like giveaways and other stuff that you can only get at Rumble. So definitely follow that channel. Check out Howitzer. They are a great brand that sponsors me and helps me out a ton, and they make amazing clothing and tactical visor shirt, which is really cool. But they donate 5% of proceeds to charity, and that is incredible. Other than that, guys, thank you so much. Go to my link in the description of my website. There you can find a lot of other stuff and other ways to save money. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.